What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Charles Enoch. You already know we back with another Invest in Myself episode. So run the intro. So before we get started, you already know your boy got to do the YouTube thing. So my goal is to get 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I know it's a crazy goal, but it's my goal. So let's make it happen. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead, take a little bit of time, hit that subscribe button for me. Also, take another bit of time, hit that like button for me. I appreciate everybody that does all three of these actions because it does help me reach a higher audience base. Appreciate the love in advance. So today we're going to be talking about when you're doing velocity banking to pay off your credit cards, which credit card should you focus on first? Should it be the credit card with the highest balance and the lowest interest rate? Or should it be a credit card with a lower balance and one of the highest interest rates? Now I'm here to tell you there's not one cookie cutter answer, but there is an equation you can do to see which credit card is charging you the most interest and causing you to lose the most cash flow every month. So credit card interest is calculated by simple interest. And when you understand how simple interest is calculated, you can use these calculations on each of your credit cards to figure out which one is charging the most interest. And when you understand how simple interest is calculated, then you can use this equation on every single one of your credit cards to see which one is causing you to lose the most cash flow every month. Once we understand that, we can use velocity banking on that particular card to pay it off first. Now, I know this may sound complicated, but it's quite easy. So you already know I got the whiteboard in the back. We're gonna break this thing down like a fraction. So let's go. All right, so on the whiteboard, you already know we get down to business here. So let's look at this particular scenario here. So we have an individual, their income is going to be $4,500 that they get per month. Their expenses are going to be $4,200. Part of their expenses, the rent is going to be $2,000, I'm sorry. So with their income being $4,500 and their total expenses with the rent and credit card debt and everything, their cash flow is going to be $300. Now let's look at the two credit cards we're going to be taking a look at here. So we have credit card number one. It's going to have a $6,000 balance on it. The interest rate is astronomically high at 32%. Then we have credit card number two. It is $19,000 and the interest is at 16%. So we're going to keep it simple. Credit card one and credit card two, the minimum payment per month is going to be $200 each credit card. All right, so let's look at the next section here. Which credit card should we be paying off first? So if we look at credit card number one, we're pretty much going to be calculating the simple interest here, right? So credit card number one has $6,000 on it. We're going to times that by 0.32. That's pretty much the 32%. We're going to divide that by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. What we end up with is $160 of interest. Now, credit card number two, if we do that same thing, we have $19,000. We're going to times that by 0.16 because that's 16% interest divided by 12 because again, 12 months in a year. We're going to see that it's $253.33 of interest. So we see which credit card is charging the most interest. And that is going to be credit card number two. It is making us lose a lot more cash flow than credit card number one because it's $160. Number two, $253.33. So we're going to want to velocity bank credit card number two by putting our income, as much income as we can, in credit card number two. And that's going to reduce that interest that is being charged. So we're going to take a look at the scenario on the other side of the board, see how this particularly works out. All right, so on the other side of the board here, let's take a look at the velocity banking strategy and how to incorporate everything that we pretty much talked about. So step one, we're going to first pay our rent. And this is gonna be with our cash. We're gonna pay the rent, $2,000. And then credit card number one, we're gonna pay $200 with our cash. So $2,200, one is going towards the rent, the other one is going towards credit card number one, because that is the minimum payment that you have to pay on credit card number one. Now, step two, we're gonna put the rest of our cash income onto credit card number two. So that'll be $2,300, because remember, our income is $4,500 for the month. So that means the balance on credit card number two is gonna be $16,700, because we're putting that $2,300 on there. Remember, it was $19,000, right? So step number three, we're gonna pay all the other expenses on or with credit card number two. So since we put pretty much our whole income or half our income on credit card number two, right? We're gonna use credit card number two to pay our expenses. Now, some of our expenses were the rent, which is $2,000, and then $200 minimum payment on credit card number one. So our total expenses is $4,200. We got to minus the $2,200. So the rest of our expenses are $2,000. So if we break this down, we put $2,300, part of our income, on credit card number two. Now $2,000 is going to go out for expenses. This is going to leave our cash flow at $300, right? So $4,500 minus $4,200, cash flow $300. So step four, the balance on credit card number two now is $18,700. Now, this is how you're going to calculate the simple interest per day in regards to the credit card here. So step number five, SI, is going to stand for your simple interest. Now, the thing is, in simple interest, it is calculated daily. So whatever the balance is on your card, this is how much is going to be taken out daily if that balance is left. Now, we're going to say this individual gets paid bi-weekly or twice a month here, right? So part of the time, the credit card is going to have the $16,700, and the other part of the time it's going to have that $18,700. So we're going to have to go half of the month with the $18,700, half of the month with the $16,700. So we need to see how much interest is charged daily when those two amounts are on the credit card. So for simple interest, we're going to first do the calculation for $16,700. We're going to times that by 0.16 because that's the interest rate on the card. And now we're going to divide it by 365. So when we first put that whole, let's say, paycheck of $2,300 and the credit card's at $16,700, that balance per day is going to be $7.37 or 32 cents that it's charging you daily on interest, right? Now, when we're using our expenses or when we're paying our expenses, then eventually the balance is going to get to $18,700. Now, let's see how much that is per day. So $18,700 times by 0.16, the interest rate, and we're going to divide it by 365 days in a year. So per day with this balance is charging us $8.19 per day. Now, this is not kind of how everything works in a non-perfect world, right? Because you're going to be putting money in and incrementally charging it. So you would have to do this daily interest calculation every day to get the perfect interest being charged total. But what we're going to do, we're going to split half of the month, 15 days, and then the other half of the month, 15 days is the other balance. So if we take $7.32, we're timesing that by 15 days, right? It's going to equal $109.80. Now, when we charge or when we times $8.19 times that by 15 days, we're going to get $122.85, right? Because we're going to pretty much just imagine that half the time the balance was $16,700. The other half of the time it was $18,700, right? We total that up. The interest being charged is $232.65. Now, we got to see what our actual cash flow is, right? So the cash flow that we have is $300. Then we're going to minus $232.65. So our actual cash flow is $67.35 after the interest is applied. So we would keep doing this method on this particular card because it's charging us the most interest. And obviously the more that you put in there and leave in there, the less interest is getting calculated daily. And obviously this is going to beat just putting the minimum payment on there or putting an extra $300 or $400 on there. You're putting your whole, pretty much half your paycheck on there to reduce the daily interest and then charging your card to pay the rest of your expenses that can be paid by a credit card. So hopefully this does make sense. If it does, go ahead, leave a comment. If it doesn't, still leave a comment. Let me know what doesn't make sense here. Remember, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me. Also, hit the like button for me as well. We're trying to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And like always, you guys have a good weekend. Peace out.